Hey, everybody. My name is John DePietro, and welcome once again to another edition of My Life with Kenny Rogers. But let me set your minds at ease. This is not about my life with Kenny Rogers, but about the lives of our special guests tonight. And we're doing 3 guests, actually 4 people all at once tonight for the first time ever. So let's all say a prayer, an opening prayer, that technically we make it through because we are in what? We are in Massachusetts, we're in Florida, we're in Tennessee, and Tennessee. So with that being said, I want to tell you that this is one of a series of videos with people who've spent considerable time with Kenny Rogers and others that have just joined in lately. However, what we want to ask you to do is down in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and I'm not going to dare try to point because it'll come out wrong. There is a little red button that says subscribe. So hit that button, and every time a new version comes out, you will be one of the first to see it. So with that being said, let's introduce our guests as I press that button. And I have no idea who's in the button and who's in the right corner. This kind of looks like a half-baked edition of Hollywood Squares, right, guys? Okay. So yes. I think somewhere up on top is Randy Dorman. And down below, the man with the hat is Chuck Jacobs. And the man without the hat, but with the Kenny Rogers shirt, is Don Gatlin. And I should say, jacket. Welcome, you guys. It's a jacket. How'd you get a jacket like that?
I don't know. He's special.
Unless
I tell you what, there's some nice ladies out there. What?
He might work in an embroidery
There were
shop.
some nice ladies that sent. Well, they sent me this jacket. It was a really nice surprise.
Ah, great, perfect. So
I'm going to wear it every chance I get.
We should say that the 2 gentlemen on one side of the screen both have 40-year careers with Mr. Kenny Rogers, and I've been hanging around just in the peripheral for quite a while. And the newcomers got, what do you got? 40 days in, Don?
I got 66 shows open for Kenny Rogers. If you count the days, it's probably about, what do you think, Chuck, about 85 days? And then we got working with these guys. We've been doing this. We put the show together a year ago. Just
about a year. Yeah. And you know what? There's exciting news coming up, which we're going to talk about. We're going to even give you a sample, and we are going to tell you that what we're going to talk about a little bit later is that they make great holiday gifts. So with that being said, but let's go back here for just a little bit, because it's ironic that as we tape this here on Thursday, November 20th, it's exactly 7 months today that we lost Kenny. And, you know, it in a way, it seems like longer ago, but in a way, it seems like a minute, doesn't it, guys?
Yeah, it just seems like yesterday almost. Although 2020 felt like it's been about 5 years long.
Yep. Isn't there a song, it almost seems like yesterday, 20 years ago?
Well, there you go.
Or 2020 ago. But, you know, and as we look back again, here we are the week before Thanksgiving. And this would be the time that you guys were getting ready. You're probably heading for LaGrange, Kentucky, or somewhere else nearby. And really probably in the midst of rehearsals for the Christmas show, right, guys?
Well, or James Roy's house for Thanksgiving dinner.
Right. About this time of year, every year we would gather and just sort of review what we did in previous years and add some new things to the Christmas tour, Kenny's Christmas tour, which was always a favorite time for most all of his fans, and a favorite time for all of us to do usually something in the neighborhood of 20 to 25 shows in 30, 35 days.
You know what? I think there's some days that you guys probably own between Thanksgiving and December 23rd, between Thanksgiving and Westbury, only had a day or 2 off. And sometimes it was a snow day that made you know, that one year you couldn't get out of Detroit.
That was one of the,
whatever.
I think there was maybe 2 that we didn't make, and that was one.
Yeah.
that we were stuck in Detroit. The truck driver said, "Well, I'm going to go out to the main truck driver said, well, we had to think 3 trucks at that time, and 4 or 5 buses. And Frank said, I'm going to go out to the freeway and see if I can get on the freeway, the expressway. And if I can, I'll let you know." And he ended up parking on the side of the ramp on the entrance to the expressway. He couldn't get on, and let us know. And we tried to get our rooms back that night at the hotel because we'd already checked out.
Right.
I remember grabbing my suitcase. Normally you'd roll your suitcase, but I grabbed it because the snow was up to our knees, and I trekked into the hotel only to find out that no, I wouldn't have a room that night. So I just trekked back to the bus and slept in my bunk on the bus, as most of us did that night.
Yeah. Yeah. Don, did you ever get to see any of the Christmas shows?
Actually, I did. The regular Christmas show and the musical that he wrote with I think with Steve.
Yeah.
And actually, it was one of my favorite things. It just blew my mind because it just seemed like Kenny, there wasn't anything he couldn't do. That was, I'm a lifelong fan. And then I'd see the Christmas show and I'm going, well, darn it, there's another thing that's absolutely amazing. I should have figured it'd be so good. I saw it. I do believe it was the T-Pack. Was it T-Pack guys that y'all did the show before?
In Nashville, I think so.
That's where my wife and I saw it, the Tennessee Performing Arts. Yeah. It was around, I want to say about 20 years ago.
Is that right? Wow.
Well,
That
that's
would have
amazing.
been
It was awesome.
That would have been about the time
Awesome.
the toy shop during that time. Yeah.
Yeah. So Randy, during those,
I
during
saw
the
that too. Yeah.
Yeah. During the Christmas show, Randy, there must have been times, that you didn't know what city you were in, right?
I never knew what city I was in.
I'm trying to set you up for saying, oh, this was a busy time of year. And then you just say, I never knew where I was, even when we were doing a weekend here and fly back home.
We never did. Well, during the Christmas tour, we were out a lot of times we'd get home Christmas Eve. And
Right.
then occasionally even one year we went back after Christmas and did
to Vegas.
I remember we went to Cleveland on the 26th and played 3 days there.
I'll be home for Christmas, and then we'd already been home for Christmas. It was the weirdest thing. That was definitely a CK Spurlock faux pas.
Yeah. I mean, everybody looked forward to Westbury, and right after that show.
Because that was
Right.
the last show. You're right.
Everybody got on that bus about 10 o'clock at night, and 20 hours later, depending upon the weather.
I will say one thing that was good about it is that we got to do a lot of really good Christmas shopping from all around the country, which you don't do when you're at home. So we were able to find unique gifts and stuff like that.
That's true. Randy used to say, and it was really interesting. He used to say, people would say, well, do you remember this place, this venue or this hotel or this town? Randy said, no, I don't remember this. And he used to say, the great thing about not remembering it is like being fresh every year.
That's right.
So Don, go ahead, sir.
Go
ahead.
I'll just say that I remember got to grow up, and my brother and I got to were very fortunate to be from the Pittsburgh area, and there was 2 major venues growing up that we got to play and open for everybody that came to town. That was Ponderosa Park in Salem, Ohio, and the Capitol Music Hall in Wheeling, West Virginia. And I remember Eddie Rabbitt getting off the bus and saying he had no idea where he was at. Like, where are we at? And I remember, I'll never get like that. I think we've all said that, and we all end up being like, where the heck are we at? It happened to me, and I know it happened to the guys many times. But I also remember about the Wheeling Jamboree and Ponderosa. I was like, they loved us so much there that they let us open up for anybody we wanted to open up for. and Kenny Rogers was too gosh darn big a star to play either one of the venues. I was like, he's going to have to come down in fame a little bit to play there. The owners, both owners were friends of ours, and there was like, hey, we'd love to have Kenny Rogers. He's just too big a star right now. And that was like through the late 70s all the way through, most of the 80s.
Yeah, but
everybody played there. Alabama, Willie Nelson, but Kenny was still playing the arenas, so that he wouldn't. That was a little bit smaller than arenas.
The
Both
Igloo,
those venues.
right? The Igloo was the place, right? Did they call it?
That one, there was an arena in Wheeling, right, Don? You remember the arena?
Really? Yes.
Yes. We used to start our Christmas tour there every year for several years. You remember that, Randy?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
See,
y'all would play that instead of the Kappa Music Hall because y'all were too big.
Right. Don mentioned earlier, this is a little bit of a tangent, but I think it's worth mentioning. Don mentioned Eddie Rabbitt, who toured with us for a lot of years. And of course, one of our keyboard players, Gene Sis, played with Eddie for many years. But
Yes.
a driver that we had out with us was named Ledford Heron.
Yep.
And he used to also drive for Eddie Rabbitt before he drove for Kenny.
I did not know that.
And in many years, and he was a wonderful person. We all loved him dearly. He's passed. And so one day, this was in Ledford's what do you call it? Obituary.
Yeah.
The story. And one day, Eddie came to the bus, opens up the door, and say, "Hey, Ledford, how's it going?" And Ledford said, "Oh, I'm just driving my life away." And that's where that came from.
Wow.
Is that right?
Yeah. Isn't that
true
something?
story.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I did not know that. Ladies and gentlemen that are watching this show, by the way, guys, I don't want to put extra pressure on you to perform well tonight. However, earlier tonight, I did a post to about 15 Kenny Rogers centric Facebook groups saying, watch out, folks, we've got a new event coming and it's going to be great. So again, I don't want to pressure you, but
that's my contribution right there.
Exactly. That's good. That's cool. And a lot of people don't know that, but nevertheless. So moving
another
ahead.
little note about that. Another note about. Can you hear me? One little quick note about that too is that Kenny. That's a great story, and that's a true story. Also, Eddie Rabbitt was working on his album at the time, and the engineer, who was a new engineer in the studio, that's a true story. He accidentally erased the entire album. The red light was on. They played it back, and he erased the entire record. Eddie was just out of his mind, just discouraged. He goes, "I can't record this whole thing again. We have to write a couple new songs at least." And the two songs that he wrote to add to that record were "Drive My Life Away" and "I Love a Rainy Night."
Oh my goodness!
He probably wouldn't even got to that record if it wouldn't for accidentally erase the entire album. Wow. True story.
That's really something.
That's wild.
Side note there.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So let's move ahead to the current day for a second. Yep. Chuck, why don't you tell us? I mean, how through the years the Kenny Rogers experience with Don got started, and then we'll come right up to this Christmas gift idea.
Yes,
tell us a little bit about that.
Exactly. Don gave me a call I think it was April of last year, 2019. And
I think you're right. Yep.
And he said, Chuck, all the times that we were on the road together, and my band Savannah Jack opened up so many times for Kenny. One of our favorite times was when Don and his group opened up for Kenny in the UK, and we had I don't know, I think it was a dozen concerts over there, and it was a wonderful time, and we became fast friends.
19. I remember them all.
That's right. And so he said, I'd always had a dream that I'd stand along on the side of the stage watching you guys at sound check and even during the performances, and a dream of singing in front of the Kenny Rogers band. And there is a certain magic about the Kenny Rogers band because we did it for so long that we had, it always sounded right. Randy and I have talked about this a lot. There's many artists try to do things different all the time and that type of thing. Our attitude was that Kenny's fans wanted to hear it like the record.
Yep. They didn't want to hear a new version of a song.
Right. So it was a challenge for us, and I think sometimes more challenge than playing things new and different, to play it the same every night, but make it sound like it was the first time you played it. So the fans really would get the experience. And that was what I think. There's a subtlety about the Kenny Rogers Band that does it that way. So anyway, Don said, I was just thinking, what would you think about putting a show together where I, Don, would sing the songs and you guys would back it up. And it would be the Kenny Rogers Show, featuring Don Gatlin. And I said, well, Don, I think that's a neat idea. In fact, we had all talked about something like that before Kenny retired. Because remember, this is April of 2019, more than a year.
Year and a half, yeah.
A year before Kenny passed, And so I said, we talked about doing this, but nobody really had the initiative to take the ball and run with it. And Don said, well, I could be that guy.
I got the ball.
Yeah, I got the ball. Give me the ball.
Yeah, and he's from Pittsburgh.
I love taking the ball.
He's in Pittsburgh, and he's got his yellow and black on, so he's like a Steeler no matter what.
As John Fogerty said, put me in, coach.
I'm ready to go.
Exactly.
And so
I literally, I called Chuck from a cruise ship and Randy from a cruise ship, and we were headlining my group, and it's like it was all with the idea of a labor of love. Like, this is something I really wanted to do musically, to play these amazing songs from one of my heroes, absolute top hero, and with the actual Kenny Rogers Band. I literally got up out of bed once the light switch came on. I even made a show. I wrote out a show. This is before I even talked to them. I wrote a show out, like, what would be fun? And I just went through all this stuff and put it together. And then I called Chuck and Randy and was like, well, I'm gonna throw it out there. They might say, oh, Don, we're not interested. But I was just really thrilled to death that they were interested. And we got together not too long after that at a recording studio in Nashville and started rehearsing. And I was very proud. I think they realized what a fanatic fan I am, because I know all the songs. I mean, I watched the beginnings, the endings that Kenny was doing with the band. So I was prepared for that. Like, I already knew the endings and beginnings and the things that he would do. And I just wanted to kind of just do like a lot of the songs, the whole song again. Because again, when you got more hits than anybody's ever put together, like Kenny did, and you can't get to them all. So Kenny was putting a lot of the songs in medleys, a lot of the songs shorter versions. I think even Cower the County took out the naughty part.
Yeah.
And so my thing was I really wanted to go back to original keys and doing the whole links. I think that'd be fun for the fans. It's something we could bring to the table. That was something. And these guys, it didn't shake them for, they didn't shake them for 2 seconds. They played the songs again to perfection. So it's like, it's so much amazing musical fun for me.
Right.
It's just so much fun.
So as we started this conversation with Christmas, there is a Christmas CD out, and it's called Every Day's Christmas. And the title is taken from the title song that Don wrote. And
yes, sir.
Don, tell us a little bit about the etymology of that song. How did that come about?
Well, of course, writing is a big important part of my musical life, and I wanted to write one new song for the Christmas project, because we're doing all the classics. But I mean, you got to hear this record. The guys they just got sick on this thing. They went musical crazy with blues, jazz, country. It's all there, and they're just basically, just to be honest, they're showing off.
Yeah,
they're just showing off.
Randy,
so
can Randy just play a segment of that? Randy, you got to cut.
Sure.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
I'll pick it up.
Yeah. And
this is
like
the title cut from the new CD.
Every day's Christmas.
Yeah.
You're here with me. Don't need no chestnuts, presents under the tree. Peace on earth is what I believe. Every day's Christmas. You're loving me. Sun's beating down, there's trouble all around. There's not much to celebrate now.
Okay, we can't play too much more because we'll get right to these.
Things that don't matter. It's like
So there's so many more. There's My Favorite Things. There's Blue Christmas. Chuck, help me out on a few more of these.
Well, the good news
White
is,
Christmas.
the great news is you can go to KennyRogersBand.com and you can hear samples of each one of the songs.
Yep. Yep.
So that's the neat thing about it.
Yep.
But you're right. My Favorite Things, White Christmas, What Child Is This?
Santa Claus is coming to town.
Santa Claus is coming to town. You're right.
Little Child, Christmas, White Christmas, I'll Be Home for Christmas.
Christmas won't be the same if you don't buy our CD. That's a bonus track.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's the bonus track. That's so folks, here's the thing, what we're going to try to do. Go to KennyRogersBand.com, and somewhere there you'll see the ad for it. And it's important to order it now in order to get it in time for Christmas gifts, and including shipping.
Every fan that buys a CD, then you come to our show, we will sign it for you, and that'll be then we can have a personal, we'll sign it for anybody that buys a CD when you come to our show in 2021. Guaranteed.
Guaranteed. Okay. And
won't be able to read Chuck's signature, but still.
KennyRogersBand.com.
It's a great. Let me say that, John. We didn't talk about this ahead of time, but I'm going to just throw this out here. For anybody who buys it that comes from this show and comes to it, we're going to sell it for an additional, it's normally $18, which includes the shipping and handling. I'm going to reduce that to $15, including shipping and handling.
Well, so now I can say, in this special internet offer,
right,
save $3. That's what, 20% or 30%. So instead of it being $18, it is $15, including shipping and handling, Chuck?
Right.
Okay. But wait, there's more.
We'll sign it.
We'll send you a Ginsu knife, a Slim Whitman's Greatest Hits, and what else can we throw in, Don? A Rocky Blyer sweatshirt, a Rocky Blyer.
Oh, no, I can't part with my Rocky Blyer.
Commemorative.
I'll do it for this.
Yeah. So we got about 3 minutes left, but let me ask you guys this: all of you have made your living on stage. Okay. What was it like getting back on stage in front of a live audience? And I'll start with Randy because you're the oldest. On October 30th in Ocala, Florida. What was it like after being on the stage for 40 years and then having that opportunity ripped away from you? You're back on. What was the feeling like backstage?
Well, it was a fairly long drive getting down there, which was, to be expected. But once we got there, we got backstage, it started feeling like home again. And then when we hit the stage, the audience was so enthusiastic. In fact, we had Kenny's brothers there, Randy and Roy, and Roy's wife, Tanya, was there with us. And that was very special. We were able to introduce them from the stage, and they were able to come back, and we were able to, and we haven't seen them, since 2017. So that was really a special moment for us as well. And
Chuck, how about you?
And a two-hour show.
Yeah. Chuck, how about you?
Yeah, I didn't even realize we did too.
Yeah, it was 2 hours and 15, I think, altogether. And now you have to remember, this was a venue that was next to a retirement community, so the audience was necessarily a little on the older side. and they don't necessarily want to stay up that long, but they were there. Nobody left. They loved it. We did a special part of the show that Don originated. It's called the Kenny Speed Round. And he says, listen, we're going to do 2 more songs. We're going to do
less than a minute. So
yeah.
Go ahead, Don. Because
so we did these, we just call out to the audience, you name a song and we'll do it. And we did maybe half a dozen more.
Great.
Great.
Including Crazy. We did Crazy, which was the couple requested it. It was their anniversary, and they danced to it while we sang Crazy.
Perfect. So I'm getting the wind up thing here from this computer. So we want to tell you folks, go to KennyRogersBand.com. Get that CD, regularly $18. Tonight only $15. And we want to thank you so much, Don Gatlin, Chuck Jacobs,
Thank you,
Randy Dorman. And folks, if you like this, hit that, that subscribe button down below. And we'll be giving you a whole bunch more updates as we go along, especially when we get back to live shows. So with that being said, my name is John DePietro, and let's go out, what, Don? Let's go out.
In a blaze of glory, all good things must stand. Cool.
Thank you so much, Don.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.